Ranking number 1 could be more important than you thought. Penguins are coming. What defenses should you be putting up? And how can marketers do a better job at integrating online and offline experiences? All that and more in This Week in Organic, episode number 24.
This Week's in Organic. Live from London on thisweekinorganic.com.
Broadcasting live on Blab, you're watching This Week in Organic, the weekly show that debates the ramifications of the latest SEO and content marketing news. Sign up to watch the next show live at thisweekinorganic.com. Hello and welcome. I'm David Bain, and each week I'll be joined by some knowledgeable, opinionated folks to discuss the latest happenings and anything that impacts organic traffic. And as for you in the live audience, get involved. Click on the Tell a Little Bird button, Tell Your Aunt button to your top left-hand side to share the show with your friends. And tell us what you think of what's being discussed in the comment section to the right-hand side as well. And I'll try and read out as many of your thoughts as I can. But let's find out more about today's guests, where they're from, and what's caught their attention this week. So starting off with Alex.
Hey! Hello everyone, thank you for having me today. I'm really excited about being in a super nice company. So basically, my name is Alexandra, and my surname is Techalo, which is really hard to pronounce actually because it's a Russian surname, and I'm from Russia. And I have my small agency, and so I had been working for a pretty long time at SEMrush. And so right now I'm just a digital marketing consultant. And so if you have any questions about SEO, digital marketing, social media, whatever you want, you can just bug me at any time. And so am I right, David, that I should also cover what topics is more or less...
Yeah, just tell us what topic is of particular interest to you.
Yeah, so I think actually I browsed carefully all topics for today's discussion, and I think it's I love definitely. I want to talk about ranking number. So when you are ranking the first position and you gain the most or the less conversions. So I mean, like talking about this one case, as well as I really love to cover some of my personal experience about LinkedIn and in terms of SEO, and definitely Twitter. Stars or hats, because I really love it and I feel like it's really motivating me to click more. But that's what we are going to talk about a bit later.
You're passionate about a lot of these topics. This is going to be tough to actually get them all in here, isn't it? Another man joining us today is Lucas.
Hi, thank you very much for the invitation, David. It's always a pleasure to be part of your TWIO. You know, I'm a big fan of this. So I'm Lucas Zelezny. I'm working as a head of organic acquisition in Uswitch price comparison website. And yeah, you know, managing small team of 4 people, including myself. I had the pleasure to meet Alexandra in the past, David. First time I see Dave, I was reading a lot of articles on David Naylor case, so I'm very pleased. And in terms of topic, I just done a little of homework and I prepare myself as good as I could. Actually, 7 minutes before Blab, to be honest. And I have 3. First is Penguin. The second is Wayback Machine. I love Wayback Machine, and I have a couple of thoughts. And obviously, David, you probably know that I couldn't resist LinkedIn. Like my friend is saying, Lucas, you love LinkedIn so much, you would copy yourself on LinkedIn. I would be like, yeah, that would be a brilliant idea. So these 3 topics. And once again, thank you for the invitation.
Oh, thank you. Lucas, you could talk without any revision at all, I'm sure. No problem at all. And another man that could do that, I'm sure, is Dave as well. Dave, thanks for joining us.
Hi, yeah. I guess first time on the show, first time I've done one of these in a long, long time. So I'm David Naylor. I own a little agency in the north of England called Bronco, and we work with little people and big people. That's about it, really. Out of the subject matter, I don't know. I mean, it's like ranking number 1 on Google. It's like I would just like to see more data in those. You know what I mean? It does my nutting when people give you a little bit of data and not much. So. Yeah. Google Penguin, well, that was on my blog, so that's a bit awkward. Wayback Machine, it's like, do I really want to search stuff that was like 20 years ago or 18 years ago, maybe? Amazon opening a physical bookstore. I don't know. Maybe it's just a gimmick. I suppose like heart is there. No, it's not. It's there. It's so much harder to make a star. So I don't know. Maybe Google star #1 for me, I guess.
It's props on here, not hearts, isn't it? I wonder if that's going to change. Okay, well, the first topic is a study published by Wayfair and Search Engine Land says that you can get 160% increase on on-site conversion rates if you get your traffic from position whatever to position #1 in the search, actually. So the hypothesis was that actually clicking on position #1 result, people are more likely to actually be ready to buy. But is that something that our panel concur with? Is there enough data behind it, maybe, as Dave alluded to? Shall we come to you first on that one, Dave? What are your thoughts, initial thoughts on that one?
Well, that's the problem with the whole article. You know what I mean? It's to me, it just didn't feel like there was enough data. I'd like to know, like, when they went from position 6 to position 1, was there any ads showing? Was there any shopping ads showing? Was there any graphics in there from like Google Images? You know what I mean? There's so many different things that are wrapped around that position 1. You can't go from like 6 to 1 and everything just stayed the same, because you don't know what the stay the same point was to start off with. I do agree with to a certain extent that I was always told that there was 3 types of people in this world. The crazy ass rich that'll just click the first thing that they find and got enough money that they'll just buy it and won't check anything else. And then you've got the third type of person, which is the tire kickers that'll go through 20 or 30 results to save 10 pence on a 90 pence product. And then you've got like the first page clickers that'll click through a few of them and then make an educated guess. So I can see a slight uplift of being at #1, and you kind of like, you've searched for something that is a product and you're not really price concerned about it. So if I searched for, I don't know, Macallan Gold whiskey, and it was like #1 slot was there, click it, it's like, I don't know, £35, 80 pence a bottle. I'd be like, click, thank you very much, here we go. #2 ad might be, I don't know, 29 quid, but it didn't really bother me because it was satisfying my need just to click and go. But 160%, yeah, it sounds more like link bait than sustainable kind of stats, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great title to put on it. And as you said, it would be lovely to actually see the data behind that, to see how much there is. Perhaps it's skewed towards brand as well. And certainly if brand aren't ranking #1, then you'd quite expect the brand to be quite poor and conversion rates to be poor. And you'd expect that to rank #1. There's so many variables in there. Lucas, you look like you're pondering, ready to say something there.
Well, if it's about whiskey, it's absolutely obvious that you're not checking who else is there, second, third. You're just quickly buying this, and I think I agree. There is also this element of, I would say, trust. If I see very often someone that ranking first, then it makes me kind of convincing. However, my friend told me once, and that really shocked me. He was like, you know what? My first rule about Google is I'm clicking always second position. I was like, why? Because I know that the first are all bastards like you guys who make them first. I was like, wow, that's very interesting.
Alex, your cat's not going to join us, is it?
Yeah. So I think basically just talking about branding. Non-branded keywords like this one, when you are appearing by branded keywords on the first position, it means automatically that you are going to grab all traffic and conversions. But from my point of view, first of all, this research shouldn't be included like researching branded keywords, because they have the highest CTRs and the highest conversions. So I mean, in terms of like doing a really good research, you shouldn't like consider those keywords. But what I'm really interested in that how much really websites they investigated in order to present those data. Is that what I feel they took maybe 1 or 2 websites and that's done. And what I feel that if you're going to take one niche or industry, it's going to be like a huge variety of different CTRs in terms of different keywords and positions, because like in some cases you're going to receive like the very high the very high CTR because it's just because your snippet is enough optimized and it's good looking and it has a sales speech, for example. And in other case, you can receive like 0 CTR because your snippet doesn't look good or it doesn't have any kind of micro formatting or whatever it's needed to have in order to persuade people to believe you and click. So it's really tricky. It's really tricky to say that this one is going to work for the whole industry and it's like automatically should be scalable solution for everyone. But I'm more than sure that in some particular cases it's going to be like that. But if just going to dig deeper, and that we can find enough cases when it's going to be an opposite result. So it really depends on what you see on search engine result page, how it's organized. And I totally agree with Dave that whether it's appearing before your first position images, knowledge graphs, local carousels, and everything, which is Google has started to push in our search engine results so heavily. So it really depends.
So basically, it's a reasonable hypothesis, but I'm getting a little bit of echo there, actually. But there's so many different industries, there's so many different types of search results, local, mobile, all those kind of things as well, and you just can't apply something, certainly without a lot of data behind what it's talking about. So if you're looking at these results and going to try and really push your SEO strategy to actually shift your number 2 rankings to number 1 rather than actually have other focus, that's the wrong thing to do just based upon this study. We need more data behind it before drawing some kind of conclusion, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing about it as well is that one of the examples they gave in the article, I think it was like candy machine or something crazy like that, for making candy floss anyway. And Wayfair were position 9 or something. But number 1 was Wikipedia. And if I'm looking to purchase, but to me, Wiki's just, I'm blind to it. It's, you know what I mean? It's like Punch the Monkey advertisements. I mean, they were brilliant to start off with, but you become blind to that kind of thing. So you know what, as a consumer, what a commercial term is, and you know what a commercial website is. So, you know what I mean? If I totally agree, if your competitor's number 1 and you can leapfrog them, you're going to steal more conversion that way. But if you've got informational sites above you and you're the only one that's actually commercially viable in the top 5, I'm sure that would skew the data as well. So again, it was just an article that was just not enough supporting data for my liking.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Well, moving on to the next topic, which is Gary. Is it Gary Iles or Gary Elias? What's the pronunciation of his surname? Lucas, do you know?
You know what? I was with Gary in Iceland when he was presenting on the Reykjavik Internet Marketing Conference, and there was a big talk about how to spell his surname, but I don't remember. I really don't want to mislead you guys, so I don't remember.
Okay, I know in French it's supposed to be Elias, but I don't know, probably how he prefers it. No idea. Okay.
Okay.
Alex?
I just know a little bit French, so are you sure that you should pronounce S in the end? Because I know that in French you shouldn't pronounce S in the end, so probably it should be Ile or something like that.
Ooh, I don't know. I thought it would be. Sometimes you might, but I mean, maybe we should move off teaching people French. I'm not sure.
That's going to be another session.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, Gary says that the next version of Penguin will happen soon, and after that, the plan is for further updates to be delivered in real time. So if you're worried about spammy links pointing to your site, is now the time to do something about it. Lucas, what do you think about this? Do you think sites need to be proactive about the potential Penguin coming along at the moment?
Absolutely. So I just wanted to give a couple of very, very short tactical approaches that it's like, I would say online marketing hygiene. I call this online marketing hygiene. So imagine this. First thing, no matter how clear and how puristic you are about off-page, about your backlinks and so on, you still need to proactively check every couple of weeks what's going there with your backlinks. Because if you will be blind, and you don't know what backlinks are pointing, then you proactively cannot even disavow them. I know that it's very, very rare that some people, it's like this myth that, oh, that's a competitor who put lots of toxic backlinks on my website. It's not about this, but there are scrapers, there are other things. You should know what's going on with your backlink profile. It's an integral part of your website. And second thing that lots of SEO people doesn't even consider. Imagine situation, you are in the company A, which acquired company B. And right now we will redirect whole company B website on company A, on the mother website. The first thing I'm doing, it is to go to backlink profile, export from Majestic, Ahrefs, Search Metrics, Open Site Explorer, and Google Webmaster Tools, make the huge list of links, making the links unique because there is a huge overlap, and then see what anchor texts contain a search volume. Everything what contain, if there is any anchor text that contain a search volume, that's probably that can be considered as linking on exact anchor match. And I'm disavowing all these links, and then I'm doing 301 redirection. I'm never doing, I would never do 301 redirection like, oh, we bought this company, it's a very reputable company, let's redirect this on our mother company. That's fine, but first I want to see their link profile, because when we will redirect, this link profile will be participating in our link profile. So if there was something bad, we will get we may get consequences. So that's my advice.
It's interesting the different use of the disavow tool as well, because I was talking to Dixon Jones from Majestic a couple of days ago, and he was saying he doesn't have a disavow file for Majestic. So that was quite intriguing.
That's okay, because when you're talking about your website, when you're doing your internal things, that's fine, because you can see what is in the disavow file. The problem is when you're doing research on your competitor and you're thinking like, oh, so many bad backlinks, but they technically may disavow them long time ago, but we don't know about this. Yeah.
So, Dave, is there anything else that website owners need to be doing to prepare themselves for Penguin potentially?
It's a tough one, isn't it? And we've made kind of like tools and executive decisions internally here on how we handle inbound links for our clients. I mean, we do a lot of PR work these days, and therefore we'll secure things in mainstream media more often than and that will lead to bloggers and scrapers and news syndicators collecting this data, rewriting it, linking to us or not linking to us, no followed links. So we get like a real look of what a normal website that's not been SEO, let us say, okay? 'Cause I don't want to say that every website that I touch becomes an SEO'd website, because I'm an SEO, so therefore it has to, you know what I mean? There's no way that I don't look at something and go, oh, I should change that and I should tweak that. But I find the more PR stuff that we do, the more weird stuff that I see turning up. I'm kind of surprised that Dixon doesn't have a disavow file. Maybe he's just bloody lazy and he's a good friend of mine anyway. So I will speak to him on Skype after this and find out why he doesn't. Or maybe he just lied. Maybe it's a big secret. Or maybe he maybe he just doesn't promote his website from an SEO point of view. So therefore, he's not worried. What keywords would he be actually tracking, if any? You know what I mean? It's like, to me, if I was in Dixon's shoes, I wouldn't need to do SEO and I wouldn't need to do disavow files, because I don't rely on Google. And I think that's the thing. If you're non-reliant on Google for your traffic, then why bother jumping through all the SEO hoops that Google make us jump through? I think what Gary's done this time around is best way, but he's trying to make us all work again. You know what I mean? He's trying to make us jump on the bandwagon, clean up the backlinks, give Google more data on what we think is bad and what we think is good. So yeah, if you got someone giving negative SEO, then sure, clean that stuff up. If you've been buying links over the last 4 to 2 years in that period, you might want to look at those and kind of like clean those out with a disavow file, or just remove them. You know what I mean? It's like 9 times out of 10, if you're disavowing stuff, it's because another SEO agency has already had out of the client and kind of like injected that stuff in there or purchased that stuff. Or you've kind of had a total change of direction and you want to clear out areas of your website. But I do feel a lot of the stuff that they're saying with the backlink stuff now is very much on the lines of like, we need more data. We want input from webmasters on what they feel is bad, so we can feed this into our AI systems so that the AI systems can learn better as well. You know that if you're going to put in a disavow file for a client, there's most probably links on there that you've acquired in the past that you've now had a change of heart over. There's links in there that you've placed as an SEO that you think, ooh, if Matt Cutts or Gary or John Moo looked at that, they most probably wouldn't like them. I better get rid of those out of the equation as well. But giving that Google over to that data over to Google means that they can sort of run the AI through that and go, actually, there's patterns here that we can actually use to catch PBNs and stuff like that. So from a webmaster's point of view, if you're not hit and you don't, and you can sleep at night, then leave it, sleep.
Alex, do you have many clients that are particularly focused on the potential of a Penguin update coming soon, or like Dave suggested, are the majority of people just simply focused on doing ongoing good practice and not being too concerned about these updates as they come along?
Well, I think there is just a couple of my considerations about that, because what I feel is that if you have all those backlinks and you have right now, let's say, a last chance announcement from Google to do it, so you're going to do it and you're going to disavow right now everything which you weren't really touching all the previous time, which is going to give a signal to Google that you're really trying to hide something, and right now you're like pointing out on that. So that's one of my considerations. So you shouldn't, I think, do it like in a really proactive way. If you have something bad in your profile, just try to somehow minimize your activity in terms of not showing it to Google in so direct way. From other point of view, I don't have a lot of clients who have those problems, let's say, but I have a couple of clients which are following wrong link building strategies. Like, for example, putting in various blogs in comment sections their links with not, let's say, super useful content. And I think it's about mindset and about doing that. And I had a couple of conversations with those clients, like, stop doing that, guys. You are just, it's just ridiculous from my point of view. But they're keep following these kind of patterns, and I think it's about mindsets as well. So it's not only about like Google and whatever and blah blah blah. It's also about like how people do it. They for example, they found out some old blog posts about like I don't know, like 100 best link building strategies. Follow them, not looking at the dates, or just some kind of bad bloggers putting all those stuff on the internet, and they're starting to follow them.
Yeah.
It's just like,
it reminds me of people looking for blogs with do follow comments. And but that was from what, eight years ago plus, something like that. It was not something advisable now.
Yeah. So what I recommend from my point of view, for sure, controlling your backlinks. So for example, it's like from two down. So here is just two reasons why you should control them. The first one is just being aware of what's going on in your landscape. The second one, that those people, you can not only receive bad links, but good links. And that's a reason to communicate with people and thank them about mentioning you. So I control all my clients' backlinks, and I receive daily alerts about them. So basically, I use a couple of tools, like for content alerts, I use BuzzSumo. For backlinks alerts of new backlinks and also lost backlinks as well, I use Href, and I highly recommend them. They're really good. And also, time to time, I use Caribou, which is really good because I can put there any API key from Hrefs, Majestic or Moz, and I can analyze automatically backlinks profile, and it's pointing out me the dangerous links, which is also good, but still your brain is the best one here. So you need to export all those data and also take a look at this by just manually as well. So basically a couple of advices from me, because I don't work really a lot with penalties.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Yeah, be proactive about things. Let's move on to our next topic, which is one of Lucas's favorites as well. And that's, for years, it's been possible to view old versions of websites at archive.org. But now with extra investment, they're now going to be building a search engine, meaning that you'll be able to search for old versions of web pages using keyword phrases. But what benefits might this have for marketers? Are you looking forward to this, Lucas, if it happens?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, Web Archive was kind of a source of lots of useful information. There was even like a court case in Poland back in the day about some contract that been not properly handled, and that was between one of the TV station and some external agency, and the TV station was saying like, no, we never had any business together. And they went to Web Archive and they found the day when they posted like, we are right now in the business relation with these guys. And they were trying to say that it was made up, but there is no way like you can made up Web Archive. So it's very useful. It's kind of a very, very geeky tool somehow. It's not for everybody. But how I see Web Archive as a search engine, I see this two-dimensional search. So you have one dimension, the Google-like search, yeah. So type a phrase and see. But the second dimension, the two-dimensional aspect, is that you can also ask when the document was live, which one you're looking for, yeah. So it's something similar like Google Maps, Google Street View allowed you to travel across London, and you're in London Victoria, and you can see like, show me how it looked like in 2007. And now in 2010. And then sometimes, because of the nostalgia, I like to see how London Victoria was changing. Nostalgia is just the one reason why we would need this kind of search engine. For SEOs, there was lots of. I was playing this kind of game of recultivation, recycling of the website. So let's say you picked up a drop domain, and he was going back to the webmaster, to the Web Archive, and he was taking this content. He was rebuilding website from scratch. I was literally like a virtual bin man. I was just taking things from the bin and I was like, it's still working. Let's put this back, yeah? And I could recycle a website. And what happened then? You could see that because of this backlink, we're still pointing to the specific pages. Then not only homepage was getting PageRank very soon, but also the deeper pages was getting PageRank soon. So you could theoretically build a nice website with very little effort. I'm not thinking that this is the main purpose why they're building the search engine to help.
That's happened to me. That's happened to me actually. I've had a website that I've had in the past and couldn't be bothered with, let the domain name drop, and someone else has actually taken it and just taken the content and republished it. I'm going, hey, come on, be a bit original here.
Exactly, and you would point him, and he would be like, well, you just throw this away. I just picked this up from the bin, because technically it is like that. Web Archive is kind of like things that expired very often and so on. Overall, as a summary, I'm very, very excited about this Web Archive search engine, especially that we will be looking in two dimensions. Date and the keyword we're looking for, like in Google. So I'm looking forward to this.
Dave, one thing that Lucas said was it's quite a geeky tool. Can you see ever a stage in the future where marketers would actually be using it positively to actually research what's happened in the past and actually maybe see what's happened, and perhaps even customers as well, customers who are considering buying from a company, wanting to see how long a company's been around, and you using that tool to actually search for historically how long that website's been around?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because it's like the world that we live in, we're all looking forward to things like robots doing our jobs and self-drive cars picking me up and taking me to a pizza place that a robot serves me pizza. So going back in time, and it seems a bit weird. But some of the things I can see it being useful for is things that browser plugins where you click on a link and it's going to go to a 404 page and Archive intercept it and bring up a choice of pages that were previously there. If it is going to be a search engine, now they're going to be indexing content quickly and efficiently as well. And then I can see that being beneficial for grabbing data quickly. There's loads of scripts out there at the moment that'll rip out archives' heart and just dump out sites and clone them within seconds. You know what I mean? It's like I can't see any benefit of, from an SEO's point of view, of them having a search facility there, other than the fact that something went really badly wrong with a client 6 months ago and you've just signed them. You'd be able to roll back what was actually on page 6 months previously, so you can most probably see some of the things that they were doing. But you can do that now anyway. So I think there's, you know, I mean, whoever's invested 1.9 million into it, it seems a chunk of change to sort of like index something that is no longer on the web, if that makes sense. It's like, I don't know. It just seems a bit weird. I mean, I like archive. You know what I mean? There's no two ways about it. I do use it for if we're looking at websites that have been penalised ages ago and you can't quite remember what was on page and you find a load of footer links that are no longer there. You think, aha, that was most probably the first trigger of whatever happened to them. You know what I mean? But realistically, it's 1.9 million pound wasted, in my opinion. I'm really sorry, Lou.
Okay. There's a few interesting comments coming in the chat, actually. Wayback Machine's awesome for broken link building. And then a suggestion about how to do it here. I'm just trying to get my head around that and talk at the same time. A bit challenging to do. Maybe you could have a look at that and see what you think of that one, possibly. And there's some suggestion of tools to clone whole sites. Yeah, a bit more uncomfortable with that one, possibly. Ideas are common practice. Alex, have you used Wayback Machine Archive.org? What are your thoughts on that?
Actually, the very first time when I used it, it was like I was really curious how was SEMrush had been looking when it was first launched. It was really, really funny stuff. It was super funny. Then I browsed a couple of other websites like Moz. It was like out of curiosity. But right now, when I think about launching those comprehensive search engine and cited, I think it can be really interesting from the point of generating data-driven content. For example, so I'm right now really, let's say, into this topic because I do a lot of researches, and really shortly I'm going to launch the research about the current state of digital marketing agencies in UK, US, and European markets, and it was like conducted with the help of various tools and supporters. And so I'm right now just putting all content and infographics together, and I hope it's going to be a really huge piece. But I thought about a really interesting case which you can do with those websites as well. If it's going to let you search inside it, so you can select any topic by which you can search and found out the trends which was popular at that time, and you can compare with the current trends. Or you can take like different data sets and compare the progress of, I don't know, like improving or just being steady, whatever you want. So it's really interesting. And I've recently, just right now, I was thinking about it. And for example, I remember that in the end of previous year and at the beginning of this year, it was really popular to change all buttons to flat. So using Web Archive, you can also find out the trend of when it started to be really popular, when Apple started to use it, and the rest of other websites started to change it as well. And you can find like some kind of traction here, and so with the current data, actually, you can make a really interesting research about that. So it really depends on what you are searching and how you use this data, but it can be really interesting in terms of content marketing and just launching new researches.
Okay. Well, coming up, we're going to be talking about the fact that Amazon are opening a physical bookstore in Seattle and whether marketers are going to love Twitter Hearts. And we're also going to be asking the question, is LinkedIn an underappreciated gem for SEO? It's also nice to see quite a bit of chat starting to go now in the sidebar there, so keep that coming along. We've got eRocket UK saying that it's also great for finding contact details for a website for outreach purposes, where they were in the past but later removed. So there's a few different uses for archive.org, but I guess the advice is not to get lost in it and think that's the most significant thing you should be focusing on. But moving on to the next topic, which is Amazon are going to be opening their own physical bookstore in Seattle. So what interests me about this is the convergence of the offline and online world. Now, this move by Amazon may indicate that we'll see a very different high street perhaps in 10 years' time, but what are the main opportunities that marketers need to be looking at now to be better at integrating online and offline experiences? Lucas, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I'm not very much in the offline world. I'm much more in online world.
Okay, but Alex? No, sorry.
No, so my advice is only like, I think that there is still a huge potential niche of this romantic people who are still trying to be more offline and vintage and old school, and it's a potential huge group of target, which kind of is on the margin right now, because the world is speeding and everything is like faster and faster. Some of my friends are like, how you can buy things on Amazon on mobile? I need to have a desktop. So they are still not getting there as quick as things are going. For me, it's obvious, like I have a thought in my mind, I'm in my bed, my mobile is next to me, I'm just buying something, and next day it's in my office. But like offline store, I think is a nice experiment. I don't know how successful they will be with opening more bookstore in London, because we have a huge competition here. We have the Penguin publisher, we have lots of other bookstores and so on. From the marketing point, again, like I'm too much online to think about offline. I think this is a totally different story, but I'm very happy to observe this and to see where it will go.
One comment saying Amazon's destroyed the high street. Now rents are cheap. They can open up stores to fly their drones for local distribution. Smart. I'm starting to feel bad about signing up for Prime now. I signed up for Prime and I'm quite liking it. Maybe I shouldn't be supporting the machine. No. Dave, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, it's kind of weird that they opened the first store just after Waterstones pulled Kindle out of 230 stores. So I don't know if it's a more political kind of gesture than anything else, or just a big advertisement banner. I don't think they want to sell more hard copies. I think they want to sell Kindles. They want to sell Prime. If the smart move would have been to join forces with Starbucks in some way and sell coffee and books at the same time, or give away hard copy books with every Kindle copy you download. I don't know. It's either gimmicky. I can't see it sticking around for a long, long time. Now, I've said things like that before, and it's really come back and bit me in the arse. So the proviso on that would be is if they started opening up in all major cities where you could actually click and collect, so it became almost like an Argos in the UK type scenario, where the big warehouses, distribution points, you can click, walk into your Amazon store, pick up your parcel from there, before obviously the self-drive cars get into force and we don't have to walk anywhere again. But bookstores, I don't know. I can't see it. I just can't see how it's got any legs.
It is tough to predict things, because maybe 10 years ago we couldn't have thought about so many Apple stores being everywhere, and they certainly appear to be doing very well. And talking about predicting things, and you're talking to maybe Dixon in the next few days. I remember interviewing Dixon back in 2007, and he was saying something like, "This Twitter will never come to anything at all." But it's tough. It's tough.
I like this comment. It's a link bait from Amazon.
Yeah.
You see this comment there? Yeah, I like this.
Yeah. Is that your thoughts as well, Alex? What are your thoughts on this one?
I don't really know what is going on with Amazon and how they're going to proceed further, which is really interesting. And I was quite surprised. Actually, I received the link from you, and I was like, oh, really? Because I think I'm more into like SEO world and checking all those blog posts and less with like Amazon. But I really love... So the thing about Amazon, I really love how they have all those things inside their company. I mean, in terms of managing it, and how they're like organize their internal process, because it's really interesting. And I don't remember, some time ago I read a really interesting book about that how they have all those processes inside their company, which is really challengeable, and how they deal with people, which is interesting. But from my point of view, it can be just a part of branding, for example. So they need to have some human face of their brand. And I think it's like maybe just a step to make it more emotional, and so to create emotional attachment between me and Amazon, because I can come to their real place, see real people, and that can be just a stage for communication. And they can run their offline events, their whatever. So it may be just a way of doing their branding. So basically, it's like, for sure we have a lot of online, but still we have a lot of offline. And maybe we need sometimes some kind of feeling that it's real.
Yeah, I mean, it's intriguing. It could be just one store. It could be hundreds of stores in the next few years. Watch this space, I reckon. But I think the whole area of integrating online, offline, and integrating different types of marketing is going to become quite important and interesting over the next few years, because in the past and perhaps now quite a bit, people are sitting in silos, and it would be nicer to have whole picture thinking in terms of how what you do impacts other areas of the business, or maybe I'm dreaming about that as well. I'm not sure. We'll see how it evolves. But next topic, which is just online, which is Twitter have replaced its favorite star with a like heart. They're possibly influenced by the popularity of hearts and Periscope and wanting to unify user engagement, or could it be that they hope to appeal to a new generation of Twitter users? So what's with the hearts, and is it significant for marketers? Lucas, you're a Periscope fan, aren't you? You like pressing the hearts on.
Well, yeah, I like. I mean, part of me is like very confused, because I feel a little. I feel like it's a bit crazy, because Twitter changed the shape of icon, and the whole world is talking about this. I saw this news 13 minutes ago. Wow, Twitter changed the fav icon to like. The new era has come. The world is totally different. Nothing is ever the same. From the other side, I feel like... I
think I've used that quote from you. I'm going to take that and create it.
Yeah. From the other side, it is like... well, I feel like, yeah, I agree. The word like is super attached to social media environment. The shape of icon is maybe has a little stronger emotional value. And remember that we're talking about if the emotional difference is very tiny, we're multiplying this by billion people. So in fact, I would say it can be a nice A/B test, the greatest A/B test ever, because the sample data, the sample group is huge that nobody probably ever had. Maybe only Facebook had that big group to test something. I would be very, very happy to see some data behind this. Yeah, since when we had heart, we can see that people more likely clicking this than they were clicking by average the favorite. So it's fascinating, but from the normal user like we, like Twitter user, I would say there is not much change. I wouldn't be like super optimistic, because it's just an icon. It's just a little change that every newspaper was writing about.
Okay, Andy Halliday saying in the chat, it's great for getting free advertising for Twitter and trying to get some new users. Dave, is this just a PR stunt, or could Twitter seriously expect to actually increase the number of users from this?
I want to know on my favorites. You know what I mean? Because my favorites were things that I was going to read later and stuff like this. You know what I mean? And now they've just flipped them to likes. I don't like half the stuff that I favorite. You know what I mean? I favorite it because I actually want to go back and read it. You know what I mean? It should be a read. Change that from a heart to a little picture of a book for read later. I mean, it's bullshit at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's like, why change something that from like one thing that is totally different to something else? You know what I mean? It's like changing the like button on Facebook to I'm not too sure about this person anymore, and porting all the data over. I used to like them, now I'm not too sure buttons kicked in. It's like, I didn't like this stuff, I added it to my favorites lists. It's like, it's crap, you know what I mean? It's like, wonder if they change the things from like followers to stalkers. It's like, I mean, I've got 27.4 thousand stalkers. What the hell's going on? Or, you know what I mean? You're stalking people. Oh, I better get rid of a few of those. So I'm sure that from what they are doing, I'm sure that people will engage more with hearts than they will with little stars. Me personally, you know what I mean? I was a star guy. You know, I'm not into hearts and flowers and stuff like that.
Grant Whiteside from Amber Green hates the word followers, actually, so he will be quite happy if it changes to something else, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Stalkers, I like this.
Stalkers, yeah. That's how it works.
I was going to say, Alex, have you got any stuff? No, have you got any followers on Twitter?
Yeah, there is like a lot of random dudes who's just liking right now, which is really interesting. But what I want to say here is that actually in Russia we have a pretty popular social media. It's called Kontakte. It's similar to Facebook, and we have from the very beginning those hats there. And when I opened Twitter and I saw there those hats, which is like only in Kontakte, it's going to, when you click on it, it's turning out to be blue, and in Twitter it's red one. So I mean, it's not like truly red, it's some mixture of colors. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's like in Kontakte. And I don't know who just decided to take the idea from Kontakte and edit it on Twitter, but from my point of view, it was like someone just taking ideas from one social media and bring into another one. But I think it's really interesting. Yeah, I was like, as well as Lukasz, I'm super interested to see their insights of changes. I mean, like how much in reality the engagement has changed since they've started to introduce those new hats in terms of stars, and whether it's really some changes, especially in some industries, like, for example, dating, or some industry which is like a really emotional one. So how it's really changed. Because I think, like, on, for example, dating websites, it should be like increasingly goes up, because people are just liking like hell all those like girls, boys, whatever, which is really interesting. So some industries should receive a really good up, and some just can be down, because like in B2B, when you see some brand which is like technology brand, do you really want to like it and pushing on a hat? I don't know. It's tricky. It's actually tricky.
It seems to be too simplistic an emotion to try and actually offer to just one, or just as a single emotion to actually offer for each tweet, certainly as well. In the chat, we've got in relation to the word followers, we've got everyone UK suggesting subscribers, and eRocket UK suggesting other marketers would be more accurate. So, Lucas, have you met anyone on Twitter that aren't marketers?
Well, you can ask me. I have mainly very, very narrow topical focus on Twitter right now, but I need to say something regarding to what David said. David, you probably are in really small minority about people who favoring and then thinking to get back to Twitter later. I was always using favor button as an endorsement. I like this girl. Let's favor last 5 tweets.
So the heart really works for you now.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I see Alexandra probably was doing the same. Like, oh, nice guy. Favorite?
Yeah. I mean, like, if you go to my Twitter analytics, there's like 90% of guys, I mean, like, who's following me because it's just an industry. And if you are really narrow focused like me, it's like that. So I have like on my Facebook, Twitter, that's it.
If I like someone very much, I'm even retweeting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like a special endorsement.
Yeah, but you know, for people who are really looking for lots of followers, that's one of the strategy. There are this kind of softwares which can favorite a couple of 100 tweets, because it's the same like in LinkedIn. We will be talking about LinkedIn, but when you see that, when users see that
your profile,
number of people favorite number of tweets, there is very high chance that at least a couple of them he will follow back.
Yeah.
So they were using. I think, David, you really using this properly, but there is only probably you and a couple of other guys left who are using this how it was designed for.
Well, I'm just looking at at the moment my tweets, followers, and likes, and I'm looking at, and some of the stuff on here that I'm just hearting guys all the time now. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, and I'm like de-heart these guys, and it's like, and if they see that and they think, why doesn't Dave love me anymore? I'm like, oh, it wasn't supposed to be like this. Little Star there was no sexuality about it, and now I'm kind of like, I'm going to leave the one for the ale trail because that's beer, and I love beer, so I'm fine with that one. But like Carlos Fernandez, it's like Mark's always right. Alex Moss, Fulham Football Club. I don't love them. That's for sure. I want to undo that one straight away. Danny Sullivan. Oh, you can still have my heart. He's okay.
It's like Tinder. You should have it like not just dislike also.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the hard as I acknowledge that you've said something, but I don't like enough to retweet something.
No, it's kind of like it's made my screen like full of little red things, and I'm just not happy about that. It just looks like blood all over my screen, like if someone squished a spider or something.
I think we should have just had this one topic for the whole show. Actually, I'm sure we could have.
But think about this: in Blob, you have these hands. How much impact would you when you would have hearts?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, stars! Go on, do star.
It just if you take a heart and make integration with Star Wars, is going to be.
Yeah.
So we have one more topic, and that's Jason Demers at Search Engine Guide has published an article called LinkedIn, an unappreciated gem for SEO. But is it a mistake to spend too much time on third-party websites that you don't have full control over? Or is LinkedIn really an underappreciated gem for SEO? Lucas, you had a deep breath there.
Well, because you're always saying this when we're talking about LinkedIn.
When I'm talking with you,
you're putting this worry on my head. Like, don't you worry to put all your content you're writing on LinkedIn. It's technically not your platform, and I always remember this. You like if one day LinkedIn will be closed, you will be the first person I will call, and I will be like, you was right. Well, you know that I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my first. LinkedIn and Twitter is like mommy and daddy. You know, like we are like friends. We are like family. We're working together. They are on my mobile, and you know, LinkedIn is my. I wouldn't say that it's extremely important for SEO because it's a little like, you know, obviously, you know, you can make your profile ranking, yeah, and you have a couple of examples like you know, you can write some keywords and you can see that people are ranking there. But I think I wouldn't say that using LinkedIn because of SEO is the right way to use this. I think LinkedIn is such a powerful tool, and this built-in the LinkedIn Tools platform to blog and meeting all these professional people. And finally, the very little number of fake accounts you have on LinkedIn, that speaks for itself, and that is a great advertisement for this medium. I don't use LinkedIn as any kind of special tactic for SEO, and I probably will not be. I think once again, like LinkedIn is so powerful as a tool that I'm happy to use this as like something additional.
Alex, you're a big fan of encouraging people to build their personal authority as a form of actually driving business to whatever they do, and real relationships, all that kind of thing. Is building your LinkedIn profile a great part of that? Is that an important part of what you teach?
Well, I think basically to connecting people, yeah, but I don't use LinkedIn a lot, like Lucas, for example, which is, I think I'm pretty miserable in that. I should do it. Yeah, I'm just spending my resources on doing some other stuff, which is maybe not so effective. But each time I'm just checking my list of to do. I'm like, oh, I should do LinkedIn post as well. But I was like, okay, next time. So basically, I think it's just like really interesting also in terms of SEO, because some time ago I was considering new sources of getting traffic to your website, in terms of like it's a third party, but still it can be really interesting. And for example, I checked SEMrush for their it's like for pages. So they've recently launched a new report with pages, and I just checked LinkedIn domain and the most visible pages in terms of traffic, and I found out a lot of different LinkedIn pages, I mean like company pages that are ranking outstandingly by like 300 keywords and more. And that's like, for example, it's like a big one is like Wells Fargo, like I see right now, but there is also some small companies as well, which is really interesting. And what I totally agree with Lucas, that it's in terms of keywords, it works. And if you're like interested in being more visible, especially by your branded keywords, which is quite logical, you should use LinkedIn as the additional source of being visible. So I think it's conjunction of factors like just like an authority, and people are mostly they well, it's kind of, let's say, social acceptance that you should be on LinkedIn and your company should be there, or at least your employees should be there. So I think it's good in terms of social approval to have a LinkedIn page, and so people who work in your company should be also attached to your page. But from other side, it's really interesting that from SEO side, it also works. So that's my point of view here.
Dave, from an SEO perspective, is the most important use of LinkedIn reputation management?
Nah, it's finding staff.
Okay. That's interesting.
I mean, our newest starter, who starts on Monday, basically fired over a LinkedIn message to me. With his CV, I employed him. Lucas said that it was like I don't know if LinkedIn is the mummy or the daddy in his world, but to me, it's more like that annoying uncle that turns up at weddings, gets drunk, and dances with the 3-year-old children until he's physically sick on one of them and has to be escorted home. The only time I ever visit LinkedIn is when something comes into my email that says someone's looked at your LinkedIn profile, and it's like, okay, and it's someone basically either trying to steal my stuff or try to recruit me. So it's great as a recruitment engine, but I'm a hater of anyone that says social and SEO somehow are so close together that they have to be right. And me and Rand Fishkin had major arguments over this. The correlation about being #1 in Google will get you more Facebook likes, or more Facebook likes will get you #1 in Google. It's like, it's #1 in Google gets you more traffic. If you're a social type of website, you get more people to it, more people like Facebook, and it's a circle, you know what I mean? It's and that's the way it works. Reputation management, I don't see that many LinkedIn pages ranking in the UK. I don't know, let me just I don't know, let me think of a company in the UK, Currys. I think they're still a company in the UK at the moment. So if I search for Currys at the moment, Wikipedia, Jamie, maybe Currys is not much.
Skyscanner as well, I see.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing LinkedIn in there. You know what I mean? If I search for my company, Bronco Limited, I get, I lie. I get Bronco there is the #2 position right below our company name, and then places I've spoken at.
And when you type your name and surname, and as long as you are not John Smith, then probably...
I'll try David Naylor. That's one that I know.
LinkedIn?
Top 25 David Naylor profiles. So there's a few of us out there. Let's see if I'm in that list, because if I'm not, I'm going to be really annoyed now, aren't I? Oh, I'm #1, boom. Oh, I suppose because I'm already logged in, so it's just showing me. You know what I mean? But again, I don't know. If I was going to go look for a person, I'd just go to LinkedIn. And I suppose that's the creature of habit that I'm becoming now as well. If I want to buy something and I want it here tomorrow, I don't even bother searching on Google. I just go to Amazon and search for it, because I know that 9 times out of 10 they will fulfill my desire for whatever it is that I'm looking for. So it's interesting the fact that I have searched for 3 things and LinkedIn was in there. So kudos to the LinkedIn team. They seem to be spamming it hard.
You obviously haven't tried to optimize the page that much, no?
No.
Yeah.
So from an SEO's point of view, I've done my job because I'm ranking there number 2 for my brand. Boom! I should £1,000 extra a month just to keep LinkedIn traffic there.
You should hire Lucas right now.
Why? I'm there, number 2. I know nothing about this, and I'm already there. Anyone selling this, that's a joke. You know what I mean? I've done nothing, and my LinkedIn profile is already there for my name and for my.
Lucas will get your company page ranking number 1 and your website number 2, though.
Don't want that. That doesn't help my wife. You know what I mean? It's like,
but you see, like talking totally serious. When someone wants to contact me on the conference or something, I prefer to give him my LinkedIn, not my email, because I am checking LinkedIn every couple of hours, and when I see the message is there, I know that this is probably something personal. I have no confirmation, newsletters, subscriptions, all that stuff, which is cluttering my email account. You know what I mean?
But that's just your personal preference. I mean, some people use Twitter like that. So some people have their personal messages on Twitter and don't follow that many people and really like doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have sometimes people who sending me messages on Twitter. I'm actually not as good with direct messages on Twitter. I sometimes may omit this, but LinkedIn never.
So I've just gone to LinkedIn, just signed in now, and the little red boxes in the far corner, I've got 322 messages, little red boxes, 4 notifications, because I think I've maybe messed about with that earlier on today, and 343 invitations. Am I doing a good job?
Yes, approve them all.
Right now.
At this moment, yeah, back in a minute. It's like,
Lucas, how many connections do you have on LinkedIn now?
I think about 10,000 right now.
how do I find that?
It's not that easy to thinking like how I know how to do this on iPad. When you open the front panel of LinkedIn, then on the iPad you can see.
And there's a difference between connections and followers as well.
Yes, because you asked me once why my number of followers is different than number of connections, because that means that probably there is some criteria I'm using not to accept. And there is one I forgot to tell you last time. If someone doesn't have a profile photo, especially people who got a logo of the company, like John Smith and the logo of the company, I'm like, what are you afraid about? The same like people on Facebook, sometimes they have like fake surnames, you know, or like Alexandra, if Alexandra would be trying to cover. I was like, what's the point? You have an account on Facebook and you are like into this kind of paranoia, like, oh, I cannot give my surname, you know what I mean? So these people are like rather trying. I'm waiting until they change the profile and then I'm approving. But like literally every day I get like 10, 20 invitations.
I've got 500 plus connections, that's all it says. And I've got 343 waiting.
So together it's 500.
Well,
500 plus. Well, when was the last time you approved, Dave?
I'm going to approve someone now. Who's going to be the lucky winner? Certainly not going to be her or her.
You're doing it by photos, and okay, you've said her twice.
Yeah. There you go, Mark Russell. Congratulations.
The winner is...
Mike Stewart. He can be as well. I don't know. Where was he from? Status 26, Dallas, Fort Worth, search engine marketer. Accept. I don't know why he wants to connect with me. He's going to spam the bits out of me now.
It's not like that. They virtually want to be closer to you. They want to be
like,
hey, Dave is my friend on LinkedIn.
But what they don't want, then they don't want a connect button. They want a little heart button. I'd be clicking that like crazy, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
But would you do that to men just as much as women, Dave?
Hey, free market, mate.
I reckon we're passing the hour mark here. I reckon that just about takes us towards the end of this week's show. So time for maybe a single takeaway from each of our guests and some sharing of find out more details from them. So shall we start off with Lucas?
Yeah, but what is the question?
Well, okay. Well, from our discussion today, what would be the one takeaway that you think people should think about and maybe implement in whatever they're doing in their business, and then just leave us with your contact details.
Okay, because we are main topic is always about SEO. I will tell be proactive with your backlink profile. Make sure that you have at least one tool. It can be even Google Webmaster Tools, and periodically, every couple of weeks, you're doing little review what is out there, even if you've never been doing link building and you are pretty sure that everything should be fine. It's good to have kind of an eye on this, and so you have knowledge what's going on, and then you're sleeping well when the Penguin update is coming. And my contact details, obviously LinkedIn, Lukas Zelezny, Twitter, Lukas Zelezny. If you really want, Facebook, Lukas Zelezny, photos of cats and food mainly, nothing interesting. So yeah, let's catch up in online environment.
Wonderful. And Alex as well, thanks for joining us.
So actually, I think that there was a lot of things which we're covering today, and basically, I think it's really good to stay alerted, as Lucas mentioned. And what I can also add from my point of view, that it's also good to take any kind of good considerations when you see any kind of research like we discussed today, that you need to consider the environment, the data sets, and whether it's really driven any kind of insights to you, and you should blindly believe it. So it's a lot about calculating data, and I can just take one number and show it in so much different ways, though that I can show it's growing, it's going down. So it's just in terms of giving a context, and it's about how you interpret this data. So I highly recommend you each time to give a good consideration, use your brain, and also use your brain in analyzing backlinks, and don't blindly believe the tools as well. Good luck.
Use your common sense as well as actually.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And so you can follow me wherever you want. So it can be also Facebook. Yes, I have cats also. So basically you can enjoy my cat. And I have LinkedIn, and should be Alexandra Tachalova, Twitter as well. So you're very welcome. So whatever you prefer.
Thanks, Alex. And also joining us was Dave. Dave, thank you.
Yeah. I guess my number one topic on all of this, I guess, was the ranking number one. Could it be more important? I would say that from that point of view, if you're going to write about SEO and you're going to push information out there, for the love of other SEOs, do it properly. Give us the right data. You know what I mean? It's the amount of people that are out there that are feeding information. Someone will have read that this week and have gone to their boss, or their boss has read it and said, we will get 160% increase in conversions if we're number one. You have to be number one now. The pressure on the SEO is immense. You know what I mean? It's someone will get sacked because they didn't do it. So seriously, follow up with proper data. Just don't throw crap out there. It's so annoying. That's why I got off Twitter and LinkedIn, and I'm still on Facebook. But if anybody does really want to follow me on there, it's there's a lot of rugby stuff on there as well. There's just rubbish and crap. It's I don't even know why people would even follow me anywhere. And on that note, I'm David Naylor, and my company's Bronco.
That was a negative qualifier, wasn't it, Dave?
Yeah. But feel free. I mean, I've got something like 20,000 Twitter followers. It's I must have said something hilarious or very intelligent once in my life. That time will 27,000. That time will come again, and I will say something very clever and witty one day soon, and therefore those people will be satisfied.
He said lots of clever, wonderful things today, so I appreciate you joining us, so thank you.
Anytime.
And I'm David Bain, Head of Growth at Analytics SEO, the agency and enterprise SEO platform with big insight. Sign up for a free demo of our platform at analyticsseo.com. And you can also find me interviewing online marketing gurus over at digitalmarketingradio.com. Now, if you're watching the show as a recording, remember to watch the next episode live. So head over to thisweekinorganic.com and be part of the live audience for the next show. But for those of you watching live, we also have an audio podcast of previous shows. So again, sign up to the email updates at thisweekinorganic.com and you'll receive the podcast links from there too. But until we see you again, have a fantabulous weekend, and thank you all for joining us. Cheers, everyone. Thanks, Lucas. Thanks, Alex. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Great show.
Thank you.